Hello, I'm Elaine Floyd, Director of Retirement and Life Planning for Horse's Mouth and author of the Savvy Social Security Planning for Boomers package. In this segment, I'm going to walk you through the break-even calculators. First, we'll cover the retirement spending and reinvest break-even calculators because they are easier to use if you know the client's primary insurance amount, or PIA. The simple break-even calculator requires an extra few steps to determine the benefit amount, so we'll save that one for last. These other two calculators tend to be more useful anyway. To start, we open the calculator in the usual way. Before entering any information, we do a Save As and give it a unique file name in order to preserve the original calculator. Enter your name, the client's name, and date as usual. Next, enter the client's PIA as determined by one of the methods we talked about in Part 2 of this series. The important thing is to use a PIA that is stated in today's dollars because the calculator will adjust for COLAs. If you take the PIA off the client's annual statement or the retirement estimator on the SSA website, you're good to go. If you use one of the other calculators posted on the SSA website, be sure to ask for it in today's dollars. Enter the current year and the client's age on nearest birthday. In cell H10, enter the earlier age benefits may be claimed. We'll use 62 here. The benefit amount is automatically filled in. Next, we enter in cell H12 the later age benefits may be claimed. We'll use 70, and the benefit amount is automatically filled in. We'll leave the COLA at 2.8%, although you can change it, and we'll enter the first year's annual spending need as $72,000. The spending need will begin in 2012. Down below, the amounts are automatically filled in. Starting on the left and going across the columns, we see the year, the client's age in each year, and the annual spending need, which is increased each year by the annual COLA. Of course, in real life, client spending needs don't exactly match the COLA increase, but as I keep saying, we're working with rough numbers anyway. The next column over, column F, shows the Social Security benefit for that year. Next to it, in column G, we see the amount of resources required to meet the spending need. Of the $72,000 spending need in 2012, $19,800, shown in cell F19, will come from Social Security, and $52,200, shown in cell G19, will come from personal resources such as IRA withdrawals. Column H shows the cumulative amount of personal resources required to meet the spending need. This is the critical column to look at. Going over to the next three columns headed by yellow, we see the same amounts if the client delays the start of his benefit to age 70. In 2012 through 2019, the Social Security column shows zeros because the benefit has not started yet. The next column over, column J, shows that from 2012 through 2019, the entire spending need must be met from personal resources because there is no Social Security. The last column shows the cumulative total of personal resources required to meet the spending need. This analysis compares column H, the total personal resources required to meet the spending need if Social Security is claimed at 62, versus column K, the total personal resources required to meet the spending need if Social Security is claimed at 70. The lower number is better and is shown in bold. That's because our goal is to choose the scenario that will require less from personal resources to meet the same spending need. The year the bold numbers jump from column H to column K is the break-even age. So we see here that the last bold number in column H occurs in 2027 when the client is 77. From then on, all the numbers in column K are bold. What this means is that if the client lives beyond age 77, he will require less personal resources to meet his spending need if he delays Social Security to age 70, even though it means taking more from personal resources in the early years, from age 62 through 69. This is a very powerful illustration for clients who want to start Social Security early because they don't want to dip into their IRAs to meet their current spending needs. Keep in mind that this analysis is not dependent on rate of return. It only looks at how much personal assets are needed to meet the spending need. It doesn't matter which personal assets are used or how much they are earning. We're only looking at how much is being taken out of the account. We use the term personal resources rather than IRA because the non-Social Security money could come from anywhere, taxable investment accounts, even income from work. Now let's look at some other scenarios. For scenario 2, let's see what happens if the client delays retirement by 4 years. What if his $72,000 annual spending need doesn't start until 2016? Let's analyze the amount of personal resources required if he starts Social Security at 66 versus 70. Now we see that the break-even age is 80. At that age, he begins to draw less from personal resources if he delays the start of Social Security to age 70. For scenario 3, we're going to go back to an age 62 retirement and start the spending need in 2012, but we're going to lower the spending need to $50,000. And we see from the two cumulative columns that the bold number shifts over at age 78. This is the same as what we saw in scenario 1. So it appears that the amount of the spending need is not relevant in determining the break-even age. Rather, it comes down to the two claiming ages we're comparing. If we compare 62 to 70, the break-even age is 78. If we compare 66 to 70, as we did in scenario 2, the break-even age is 80. And here we have scenario 4, where we kept the same spending need of $50,000, but changed the ages to 66 and 70. And like scenario 2, it shows a break-even age of 80. The retirement spending break-even calculator is a good introduction to a discussion of retirement income planning, where you and the client identify the spending need and then consider the various sources of income that may meet that spending need. These calculators focus on the Social Security claiming question and serve as an entree to a much broader discussion of IRAs, pensions, other investment accounts, and whether or not the client plans to work in retirement. Now let's move on to the Reinvest Break-Even calculator. The purpose of this calculator is to show the break-even age if benefits are invested. In other words, if the client takes early benefits at 62 and reinvests them at X rate of return, when will the total of cumulative benefits and investment returns that arise from delaying benefits to age 70 begin to catch up and overtake the total benefits and investment returns from applying at 62? Here we have a PIA of $2,200. The client is 62 and is considering taking benefits at 62 versus 70. After we enter the PIA, the client's current age, and the age benefits may be claimed, the calculator automatically fills in the benefit amount, adjusting for early or delayed claiming as well as COLAs. So if he starts his benefit at 62, he'll receive $1,650 per month. If he starts at 70, he'll receive $3,622 per month. Let's keep the COLA at 2.8% and assume he's going to invest his benefits and earn a steady 4%. As we can see from all the zeros in columns G and H, he won't receive any benefits from age 62 to 70 if he delays claiming Social Security. Meanwhile, the cumulative benefits in column F are building up. No benefits are being spent here. They're all being invested and earning an annual 4% compounded growth rate. The calculator compares column F to column H and shows the higher number in bold. And as we can see, the bold numbers switch over from column F to column H at age 81. So that's the break-even age if benefits are invested at 4%. So you can ask your client, do you think you will live past age 81? If so, and if you plan to invest all of your Social Security benefits at a 4% annual rate of return, it would make sense for you to delay your benefit to age 70. If not, take benefits early and invest them. Let's say your client thinks he can earn more than 4% on his invested Social Security benefits. So here we up the rate of return to 6%, and now we see that the break-even age is higher. It is not until the client turns 84 that the cumulative total from applying at the later age of 70 begins to overtake the total from applying at 62. For scenario 3, let's say the client wants to be really aggressive and assume a compound annual growth rate of 8%. Now we see that the break-even age jumps to age 90. From age 62 to 90, he ends up with more money by applying for early Social Security benefits and investing them at 8%. But, as I mentioned earlier, you do have to keep in mind the respective risk profiles here. In order to earn a consistent 8% return, you need to take some risk, whereas the Social Security formula is relatively risk-free. I say relatively because the benefit formula could be changed in the future, but it is not likely to be changed by very much. And again, we're not working with precise numbers because we have no way of knowing what COLAs will be in the future. For scenario 4, we go back to the 4% return but change the ages to 62 versus 66, and here the break-even age is 79. And for scenario 5, we'll keep the ages at 62 and 66, but change the rate of return to 6%, and the break-even age is 82. The point of showing all these scenarios is to let you know that you can try out different combinations of analysis ages and return assumptions, and the calculator will show you the income stream and the age at which the later claiming scenario will begin to pay off. Now we come to the simple break-even calculator, which has intentionally been kept simple and transparent. All it does is show the Social Security income stream for two claiming ages and compare the cumulative totals so you can see at what age the total from the later claiming scenario begins to overtake the total from the earlier claiming scenario. There are no investment returns to get in the way, no spending needs to get in the way, no spousal or survivor benefits to get in the way. You're purely looking at the Social Security income stream by itself to show clients at what age they would have received more total benefits from claiming at a later age versus an earlier age. The most common analysis is 62 versus 70, but there may be times when you'll want to analyze other claiming ages. Now, the inputs for this calculator aren't quite as simple as they are for the other calculators. The other calculators figured out the benefit amounts based on the PIA you entered. With this calculator, you have to enter the two benefit amounts yourself. I'll show you how to do this. But first, I have to digress into COLAs. All of the savvy calculators take cost of living adjustments into consideration. One revelation that came out of the groundbreaking paper, Social Security Claiming in a 401k World, is that cost of living adjustments magnify the effect of early or late claiming. The reason is that if you apply COLAs on top of a higher benefit, the disparity between the lower and higher benefits grows wider with each passing year. For example, let's look at the spreadsheet that's open here. We see in the first column, going down to age 70, Boomer Bob's benefit at age 70 will be $2,058 if he files at 62. Going across the page, we see that his benefit at age 70 will be $3,622 if he files at 70. If we apply a 2.8% annual COLA to the two amounts, he'll get a $57 raise on the $2,058 if he files at 62, or a $101 raise on the $3,622 if he delays to age 70. Every year he'll keep getting a smaller raise if he files at 62, or a larger raise if he files at 70. The net effect is that the cumulative total from the later claiming scenario widens compared to the earlier claiming scenario, and this serves to lower the break-even age. Here we see a break-even age of 78. That's when the cumulative total from filing at 70 begins to overtake the cumulative total from filing at 62. If we were to use non-COLA adjusted numbers, the break-even age would be 84. But that wouldn't be entirely accurate because one significant aspect of Social Security is that the income keeps up with inflation. Okay, so now let's talk about where we got the $1,650 for the age 62 starting benefit and the $3,622 benefit for the age 70 starting benefit. Both of these numbers are adjusted for COLAs, and that's why this can be a little tricky. It's not as simple as taking the age 62 and the age 70 benefit off the client's annual Social Security statement or the online retirement estimator because those numbers are not adjusted for COLAs. If Boomer Bob has a PIA of $2,200, his statement will show an age 70 benefit of about $2,900. But if COLAs average 2.8% a year between now and then, his actual age 70 benefit will be higher. To get a client's COLA adjusted benefit amount, open the benefit adjustment calculator. Enter the client's PIA and current age at the top. The calculator will automatically fill in the benefit amounts if he applies at age 62, 63, 64, and so on. Column D shows the PIA adjusted for reduction or credit based on age of application. Column E shows those amounts adjusted for COLAs. So to determine Boomer Bob's age 62 and age 70 benefit amounts, just look at the numbers in column E that correspond to the ages you want to analyze. Going back to the simple break-even calculator, we enter the two benefit amounts, $16.50 and $36.22 for ages 62 and 70 respectively. Looking at the two cumulative columns, we see that at age 78, cumulative benefits from applying at 70 begin to overtake the cumulative benefits from applying at 62. To run a different scenario, we click on Scenario 2 tab at the bottom. Let's say we want to compare age 62 to 66. So we go back to the benefit adjustment calculator to see what the COLA adjusted age 66 benefit will be. We see that it will be $2,457, so we enter that here, along with the $1,650 for age 62. Now, comparing the two columns, we see that the break-even age is 75. So if the client is contemplating applying for benefits at 62 versus 66, you can ask if he thinks he'll live longer than age 75. Or maybe a client is already 66 and wants to know if he should apply now or wait until he turns 70. For scenario 3, we enter the two amounts for 66 and 70 from the benefit adjustment calculator and get a break-even age of 80. What you'll find when you run these scenarios a number of times is that the break-even ages are about the same. If you're comparing 62 to 70, the break-even age is 78. If you're comparing 62 to 66, the break-even age is 75. If you're comparing 66 to 70, the break-even age is 80. So you can use this table as a shortcut and use the simple break-even calculator only if you're working with different ages. The best way to get comfortable with the Savvy Social Security calculators is to use them, practice on yourself, your parents, your colleagues, anyone whose PIA you can get a hold of, and try out different scenarios. When presenting the results to clients, put the numbers in context for them. The beauty of these calculators is that it shows the lifetime income stream, illustrating the long-term effect of decisions made today. Too many people are too short-sighted about Social Security. They see those benefits dangling before them when they turn 62, and they want to grab them as soon as possible. Even though their statement shows how much less their benefit will be at age 62, it doesn't really hit home for them how much they'll be giving up if they live even a few years beyond the average life expectancy. If Boomer Bob lives to age 85, he'll be giving up $86,000 if he claims early. If he or his wife lives to age 90, they'll be giving up $173,000. These are the kinds of numbers you can show with the Savvy Social Security calculators. Clients who say they want to claim early because they think Social Security is going broke are just not being smart about it. And they're only hurting themselves. By claiming early, they are taking the risk that the system won't go broke and they'll be stuck with a permanently reduced benefit. Hopefully, these calculators can talk some sense into them. I wish you luck as you use these calculators to counsel your clients. If you have questions, please post them to the Savvy Social Security site or email me at socialsecurity@horsesmouth.com.